The O.J. Simpson trial, also known as the trial of the century, was part murder case, part TV, and part Saturday Night Live sketch that somehow lasted 8 months long. It had everything: celebrity drama, slow motion car chases, a glove that had one job and it failed miserably, and a defense attorney who basically turned the trial into a spoken word performance. So here are the biggest moments that kept America glued to their TV. Hey, welcome to Profiling Evil, your go-to crime channel where we dive deep into the criminal process and we try to provide some education on the fascinating world of crime solving. So if you're passionate about unraveling mysteries and understanding the psychology of crime, you've come to the right place. Now, before we jump into this video on O.J. Simpson, just take a quick moment and hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Make sure that you have the notifications on so that you never miss future videos like this one. And keep giving us thumbs up. It really helps us bring about good content. And we'd really like it if you'd share Profiling Evil with your friends and contacts. People like you who love true crime. Now, let's get started. I will never forget watching O.J.'s car chase. This was a high-stakes police pursuit, unfolding at a whopping 35 miles per hour on an LA freeway. Scratching my head, I wondered whether I was watching a fleeing felon or a terribly long sequel to Driving Miss Daisy. I mean, what was Simpson's buddy Al Cowling saying to him throughout this? Maybe it was something like, hey, hang in there, OJ. We're going to be arriving at your scandal in approximately 12 minutes. Now, into the trial, the bloody glove fiasco was an incredible moment. The moment that should have sealed the prosecution's case, but instead, it became the ultimate courtroom blunder. Prosecutors had matching gloves, one found at the crime scene and one found at O.J. Simpson's house. Both were soaked in blood. Their big moment was making O.J. try this glove on in front of the jury. And then disaster struck. O.J. dramatically struggled to get that glove on, wiggling his fingers like he was trying to put on a pair of skinny jeans that was 2 sizes too small. The moment the jury saw the glove not fitting, the case started to unravel. It unraveled even faster than O.J.'s acting career. And then, after 8 months of trial testimony, the moment came when Johnnie uttered the words, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit."
It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Who could ever forget the blunder of having O.J. try on that bloody glove? I mean, did they forget that leather shrinks when it gets wet or perhaps bloody? Johnnie Cochran didn't just defend O.J. when he delivered the most famous legal mic drop in history. And remember, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Half the world dropped their heads in horror. I was among that. While the other half cheered almost as if O.J. Simpson had just scored a touchdown. Well, defense attorney Johnnie Cochran took the glove debacle and he turned it into the greatest courtroom catchphrase of all time. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. It rhymed, it stuck, and it became more famous than anything O.J. did on the football field. The moment he said it, you could feel the entire prosecution team collectively implode. They brought a knife to a poetry slam, and Johnnie Cochran, this guy was the Shakespeare with a law degree. Now, don't forget about that DNA evidence either. That's the DNA evidence that nobody understood. And here's the thing. This case had a mountain of DNA evidence. O.J.'s blood was at the crime scene. Nicole's blood was in O.J.'s car, and Ron Goldman's blood was on O.J.'s socks. But there was a problem. Back in 1995, jurors were not exactly DNA experts, and when the prosecution attempted to explain DNA, it was like a boring college biology lecture. So while the defense turned it into a conspiracy thriller about contaminated samples and corrupt cops, the prosecution slowly disintegrated. It was science versus suspicion, and suspicion won. Does this kind of remind you of what might be happening in the Karen Reed case as well? Well, let's not forget about the Mark Fuhrman racism bombshell. Detective Mark Fuhrman, a key investigator for the LAPD, the guy who helped collect crucial evidence, accept this major plot twist. It turns out that Fuhrman had a history of making racist comments, including comments on tape. Now, the defense tore him apart, using his past to suggest that the police had framed O.J. And suddenly, the trial wasn't just about murder. It became a symbol of race, corruption, and police misconduct in America. When Fuhrman took the stand and was asked if he'd ever used racial slurs, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right. Now, that's the right of protection from self-incrimination. And in the USA, individuals cannot be forced to testify against themselves in criminal things. His answer from the witness stand didn't have a good look. Well, the verdict that stopped the country came out. I mean, my jaw literally hit the floor when O.J. Simpson was found not guilty. I swear, time slowed to a crawl as I tried to process the verdict. I'd been a cop for about 15 years when this happened, and I'll never forget the feeling that I had on that day. To this day, I sat in silence, wondering, what have I missed? I mean, I must have been watching an entirely different trial, wondering if I somehow had stepped into the Twilight Zone legal edition. Well, after 8 months of testimony, the jury took less than 4 hours to decide O.J. was not guilty. The verdict was read and America basically exploded. Half the country was cheering like their team had just won the Super Bowl, while the other half was yelling at their TV like somebody just fumbled at the goal line. But O.J.'s story doesn't end there. Most people, after beating a double homicide charge, might try to lay low, but not O.J. Simpson. He went golfing. He wrote a book that he called, quote, "If I Did It," close quote, where he hypothetically explained how he would have murdered them, because everybody does things like that, right? And then, in 2007, he was arrested again, this time for armed robbery in Las Vegas. You see, it turns out his post-trial retirement plan was to steal back his own memorabilia from a hotel room. This time, O.J. went to prison. And after the criminal murder trial subsided, Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman's families sued O.J. in civil court. Now, this was something, because this time the jury wasn't buying the defense arguments. O.J. was found liable for the deaths of Nicole and Ron, and he was ordered to pay $33.5 million to the victim's family. The problem was that O.J. claimed he was broke, but the Goldmans later won the rights to his book. The book he titled "If I Did It," but they added on to that title, "If I Did It, Confessions of a Killer," which is the single most savage legal move in history that I can think of. Well, the O.J. Simpson trial wasn't just a murder case. It was a cultural event. It had more plot twists than a soap opera, a cast of larger-than-life personalities, and a verdict that divided the country. And now, even decades later, we're still arguing about it, making memes about it, and shaking our heads at how a slow-speed Bronco chase and a glove malfunction helped shape courtroom history. Well, I hope you'll take time to enter your comments down below on this one. Please weigh in, folks. Give me your thoughts on whether OJ did it or he didn't. Be kind and be constructive, and let's explore this case together. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to Profiling Evil. We truly appreciate your support, and we love having you along for this journey. Don't forget that you can connect with Profiling Evil on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. That way you're going to get more updates, more insights. And if you like audio podcasts, we've got you covered. Subscribe to Profiling Evil podcasts on your favorite podcast platform. That way you're going to catch all of our episodes on the go. And if you're looking for even more content, you can head over to our website at profilingevil.com. That's where you'll find our informative story maps and our missing persons and unsolved homicides crowdsource map. Now this is a social experience where you get to enter cases from your own community anywhere in the world. It's a fascinating experiment that I hope you'll be part of. And while you're at the website, sign up for our digital newsletter, the BOLO. BOLO stands for Be on the Lookout, and it's packed with exclusive information. The only way you're going to get that information is by subscribing at Profiling Evil, and I'll never share your information. Now listen, if you're a fan of true crime books, make sure you've got Profiling Evil's books on your shelf. You can get personalized copies of Deceived, an investigative memoir of the Zion Society cult, or She Knew No Fear, by going to profilingevil.com. And if you live in the United States, I'll sign them and I'll ship them for free. Anywhere else in the world, just go to amazon.com. Hey, thanks for your incredible support of Profiling Evil. We'll see you soon at the next crime scene.